Howdy folks, Pilgrim here. Folks, today we are reading 1 Corinthians chapter 9. And this continues the long passage of discourse. 1 Corinthians is one of the most massive books in the New Testament. I didn't realize it was this big. I never knew it was this big. And we got 16 chapters in this book. And all this time, and we are finally on chapter 9. And after all that Paul has been through, trying to deal with schisms and encouragements to another gospel, all the sectarianism, denominationalism. I think the other gospel is mentioned elsewhere, but I just throw it in there because once you get distracted by denominationalism, you're already acting according to another gospel and not the one that Christ called us to, which is, unity in love while serving the same Lord, getting the job done, bringing others to Christ instead of fighting amongst ourselves. This in itself is another gospel. So dealing with sectarianism, the roots of it, and then making us realize just how serious sectarianism is by identifying it as carnal. If we can do that, we can be good stewards of the mysteries of God and stop immorality and fleshly sins of every kind from creeping into us and being part of our lives. Addressing those issues, getting to that point where we are not so fleshly, will help us moderate our behavior towards our own brethren, not suing each other, not practicing all these things which are idols, listed in. Wow, did you see that? The curiosity of that little bird was so amazing to me. I don't know what kind of bird it was. It was it looked like a sparrow, but it was light brown all over, if my memory serves me right. Very strange little one. Strange little bird. Chapter 9. Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Are you not my work in the Lord? If I'm not an apostle to others, yet doubtless I am to you. For you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord. Okay? Even if I'm not an apostle to others in your minds, in your opinions, I am an apostle to you. You've seen how I've built your congregation. You've seen everything that you've learned, how you understand the scriptures, the prophecies, the blessings. Much more, so much more now than you ever did. Okay? My defense, verse 3, to those who examine me is this: do we have no right to eat and drink? Do we have no rights to take along a believing wife, as do also the other apostles, the brothers of the Lord, and Cephas? Or is it only Barnabas and I who have no right to refrain from working? Why are you questioning us? Whoever goes to war at his own expense, who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit, or who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock? Do I say these things as a man? Mere was italicized. King James put that in there. Do I say these things as a man? Or does not the law say the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, you shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. Is it oxen God is concerned about? Or does he say it altogether for our sakes? It occurs to me that many people get lost on this expression of Paul's, as if to dismiss the needs or interests of animals. You got to remember that Joseph was the first one, if I remember rightly, he was the first one to to build stalls for animals. He cared about them so much, and this is incorporated, if I remember rightly, in the Festival of Booths. And this points obviously to Jesus Christ being born in a manger, and there's a whole lot of deep study behind that. But after what Paul has just said here, it's not about the animals. People have taken this verse to mean that, God or Jews or Judaism and so on don't give a darn about animals very much. They're just tools or things that are used. They misunderstand what Paul is saying here. Verse 3, my defense to those who examine me is this: do we have no rights to eat and drink? Do we have no right to take along a believing wife as other apostles do? The brothers of the Lord, as that's James and so on, as well as Cephas, Peter? Or is it only Barnabas and I who have no right to refrain from working? Whoever, we helped set up this church, and we're trying to prepare you for eternal life. Whoever goes to war is at his own expense. Who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit? And someone who goes to war sends others. They hire soldiers and go to war. They prepare that whole situation. Or who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock? Paul is not asking for benefits here. Do I say these things as a mere man, or does not the law say the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, you shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. Be kind to your animals. Is it oxen God is concerned about? Or does he say it altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt. This is written that he who plows should plow in hope. Paul's the oxen here. And he who threshes in hope should be partaker of this hope. If we have sown spiritual things for you, I'm going to reword this. If we have sown spiritual things in you, is it a great thing if we reap your material things? If others are partakers of this right over you, are we not even more so? Nevertheless, we haven't used this right, but we endure all things, lest we hinder the gospel of Christ. Do you not know that those who minister the holy things in the temple in the old days eat of the things of the temple, and those who serve at the altar partake of the offerings of the altar, the Levite priests? Even so, the Lord has commanded that those who preach the gospel should live from the gospel. I would throw Matthew 10:10 in there, as a cross-reference. But I have used none of these things. Lest you complain about it and be miser with me, understand this: I haven't taken anything from you, not a single sandwich. Nor have I written these things that it should be done so for me. For it would be better for me to die than anyone should make my boasting void and make me out as if I'm trying to gain something from people. I have used none of these things, nor have I written these things that it should be done so for me. For it would be better for me to die than anyone should make my boasting void. Tell me the last time you ever heard a prosperity gospel preacher say that. Verse 15. For if I preach the gospel, I have nothing to boast about, for necessity is laid upon me. Yes, woe is me if I do not preach the gospel. That's the necessity I have, not your stuff. For if I do this willingly, I have a reward. But if I do it against my will, then I have been entrusted with a stewardship. What is my reward then? That when I preach the gospel, I may present the gospel of Christ without charge, that I may not abuse my authority in the gospel. I'm not going to take a thing from you. Now compare this attitude from verses 15 to 18 with the prosperity gospel preachers who definitely expect something from you. They don't just ask you for it. They tell you how much they're expecting, how much they want, and berate you into doing it. And they don't stop until they get every penny because they're after the prosperity. And they'll promise you the moon if you give them the money they're asking for. Meanwhile, they're the only ones getting the moon. And this to them is proof that their way and their teaching is right, until they are rebuked in the judgment. Now, it's okay for a worker to receive his wages. Missionaries, traveling preachers, pastors, they all receive a wage. Some of them not very much. But, it's good for them to eat and drink and survive and to live. They're not slaves. But that's not what we're talking about here. For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all. Though I'm free from all, I have made myself a servant to all. To those under the law, as under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those without the law, as without the law. Not being without law toward God, but under law toward Christ. You see what I mean about changing words in the King James Version, the Old English? It works much better if you took out the word but and put in the word because. In verse 21, not being without law toward God, because I'm under law toward Christ, so that I might win those who are without law. Whatever position a person is in, those are the people I'm trying to win. And I'll adapt to their customs and ways without abandoning Christ, in order to be someone that they can relate to. In the book of Romans, I believe, he speaks about going to different cities and immediately sets about studying their poets and their artists and so on, to see where these people are coming from so that you might understand them, so that he can refine his communication to them with something that they understand. So they won't just dismiss him. Oh, what's this foreigner talking about? To the weak I became as weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men, so that I might by all means save some. Now this I do for the gospel's sake, that I may be partaker of it with you. When we sit down at that heavenly feast. Beautiful. Do you not know that those who run a race, they all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way so that you may obtain that prize. And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. You control yourself. If you're training as an athlete, you don't go pig out at McDonald's. You start training yourself, getting yourself ready. You temper your habits and your ways. Now, they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown. Therefore I run like this, not with uncertainty, because I'm sure about Christ and I'm sure about the gospel. I'm 100% committed on this. Therefore I run like this, not with uncertainty. Like this I fight, not as one who's beating the air and hoping to strike. But I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should somehow become disqualified. Watching how you walk after everything else he's gone into. We have hope. Like Paul said, right here. He who plows should plow in hope, and he who threshes in hope should be partaker of this hope. Christ didn't call us just to do a job. He promised us a reward for doing that job, even though we didn't ask for one. And when those rewards are given, we shall, in that same hope, be seated there along with all the others of this wonderful and great family, sitting down with Christ at the great feast after the rapture, coming soon. God bless you. Keep on looking up, and perhaps we'll see each other soon.